Morning everyone, Flanker Jack here. Just want to do this video after my first airsoft game and give you my initial impressions on the rifle, the CYMA 070 Jungle Carbine, and obviously as you can see in the background I got some paint, so I'm going to do a little bit of painting today I think of this. I've always wanted to paint a rifle. I haven't quite had the guts to do it to my real steel one yet, so I'm going to do it to this and see what I can do, but I'm going to give you some initial impressions on the rifle itself based on my first ever game and first ever day out doing it. First off, overall the rifle did really well. It performed as expected and I was able to shoot. It fed well once I got the hop up dialed in. I was getting some good range. The accuracy is a bit off, but I think that's just because it's a cheap barrel. Purpose of this is obviously to work on my real steel skills, and there was a couple of lessons learned. Obviously I was playing against very skilled players with some excellent rifles and some good skills as well, so very difficult to even get some good hits on them, but I did manage to get some nice hits. I got hit a lot myself, which was good. So initial thoughts, overall rifle did very well. There wasn't really an issue with the controls, with the fire rate once I got everything dialed in. Now I took it out there stock. I just took it out the box, plugged it in, took it out there. So a couple things that I learned about this type of rifle. Now this is probably a thing just because it is a budget rifle, it's a beginner rifle, is a lot of the screws and like the castle nut, the rail screw and the barrel screw, even the safety and the mag release there, the screws weren't super tight on it. So you know, my first game or so, what I discovered is, especially here, this rail screw right here is, it's a very thin screw, it's a very thin thread, and I was a bit strong on my grip here and I ended up twisting it off and the whole thing came off. So had to tighten and Loctite that. The castle nut just wouldn't stay on even if when I used my torque wrench, so I did have to Loctite that. Stock worked very well, everything else worked very well. Mag release worked, and actually let me turn the rifle over here. Something I also discovered is it had an ambidextrous mag release here, and when I would take the rifle I would actually hit it, and there was a time when I dropped my mag because I just was too strong on a transition. So I took this off and threw that away. I'm never going to use that ever again. The safety itself was a little loosey-goosey at first. I thought that was just the build of it. Again, there were times where, being left-handed, I would actually turn it just a little bit like that and it would go full auto. But I've tightened that screw up a little bit, and I think I might have stripped it, so I may not be able to do that again. But that's the way it goes. Overall, not too bad. The sight itself, this Pinty, $30 on Amazon. I don't know what I did the night before, but I think I left the battery on. The next day the battery had died. I just used the battery that came with it. So lesson there is bring a spare battery, and also don't use the battery that comes with it. Okay, so overall very good. Again, the goal for today is to paint. I've got my Rust-Oleum camouflage. I think I'm also going to paint the magazines as well, just because I can, and I've got the equipment. So we're going to get it all taped up, and I'm going to paint it, and we'll go from there. All right, stay tuned. Okay guys, welcome back. Okay, so I'm going to have a go at this paint here. My initial, I'm going to put this khaki sand color down at the bottom. That's going to be my base layer. I'm also going to do my magazines at the same time. So let's just see how this goes. Nice, I like that color already. And as you can see, I'm leaving the furniture on where I've placed it, just so, again, if I need to move it, I'll nice. All right, I'm gonna leave that dry for about 10 minutes. Then I'm gonna come back, I'll do the other side, I'll get that done, and then once I get both sides done, then we'll work on the actual camouflage pattern that I wanna do. All right. God, I like that color already. All right, be right back. Okay, I'm back. I got both sides done, looking pretty well. I think I got most of the rifle done properly. Gave it good enough time to dry. Yeah, everything's dry. Good. All right. So now I'm going to do the actual darkening pattern. So I'm just going to use this dark green, and then this was $1.50 at Walmart, just a laundry bag that I found. It's got a nice big thick kind of mesh to it, so I'm just going to use this. I'm going to double it over to give it sort of more of a rough pattern. You don't need anything too spectacular here. Again, it's the whole point of it is to be rough and break up the outline. So good. So I'm just going to give this a pass. Well, that looks very good, doesn't it? So let's just do the same thing to my magazines. Yeah, it looks quite good, doesn't it? All right, so let's do the rifle bit now. So I'm just going to lay this on top. Do the front end, I think, just like this. There you go. Yeah, I don't want it too... I do want it to look rough, just to give it some shadow. Yeah, very nice. All right. That looks good. It looks sort of like the hex mag pattern, doesn't it? So I don't mind it being darker, lighter in certain areas. A couple passes, give it that nice rough look. Again, you're looking to build shadows over anything else, so good. So we'll let that be a little bit, and we'll go from there. All right, I'll come back in a minute. I'll do the other side. Okay, so got both sides done. As you can see, I kind of went a little heavy here, but that's okay. I really don't mind. I think it's looking good so far. So for my final touch is I'm going to use straight black to give it some nice shadow effect on this. So for this, I'm not going to use the laundry bag. I actually found this, I guess this is an air vent cover or something. It was $2, and so it was just sitting there. So what I want to do is I just want to make a nice shadow effect to contrast the green. So let's see how this works. So I'm just going to do I'm just going to do a slow, let's go opposite. I'm just going to do a slow, oh, that might be a bit much, huh? A nice little touch. Yeah, that might be a bit much there, but I'll go back with the sand and touch that up, I think. So, I do like the pattern. Yeah, I did kind of screwed it up here a little bit, but I'm going to go back. I'll go back with the mesh and I'll touch that up again. One of the nice things about doing this is you're able to, if you make a mistake, you just make a change and no one's the wiser, huh? It's looking a little rough, which I like. Yeah, so all right. Well, maybe it's a bit too fine of a mesh. So, but that's okay. Let's say I'll touch up the other side, and then we'll put it together and see what we end up with. Very nice. Okay, there's the finished product. As you can see, I left the grip black. I did paint the vertical grip. We're going to see how this this holds up. But overall, I kind of like it. It does have that nice look to it. The paint itself has a nice little bit of grain to it. And just for contrast, here's some multicam gear. There's the mags in there. I fully expect some of this paint to rub off on my clothing and gloves, but that's okay. I probably will get a new vertical grip. Anyway, there's the finished product. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you on the field. Thanks a lot.